Hey, I'm really upset about this because it's mostly women that are being finessed, deceived by these pastors and these prophets. A pastor should never drive a Rolls Royce. A pastor should never drive a Rolls Royce. A pastor should never have a private jet. A pastor should never have a $5 million home. A pastor should not be wearing designer. A pastor should not have a Benz. A pastor should not have 3, 4 cars, luxury cars. Why? Is because there's always going to be a person starving in your church. Starving, homeless, don't have a job, unemployed. And you as a pastor, if you are making the majority of your money through the church, through your church salary or whatever, donations, you are sinning. Because you are stealing the church's funds to supply your lifestyle. If you don't have a product, if you don't have a product, if you don't have a book, a business, a company that is generating you millions of dollars a year, you should be nowhere near a Rolls Royce, $100,000 Benz, a G-Wagon, a Bentley, a Cadillac. You should never be seen in a more than $250,000 home, because you cannot afford that on a church salary. If you get paid 60 to 100K a year, how can you afford $1 million home? How can you afford a Rolls Royce? How can you afford a Cadillac? That's $100,000. How are you affording a $5,000 fit? How are you affording a $10,000 coat? How does your wife have a $5,000 bag if you don't have millions of dollars coming from your business? That is a sin. You are stealing from poor. You are stealing from the poor that attend your church and give because they are greedy themselves. They think that them giving the pastor $200, $1,000 a week is gonna generate abundance from the Lord. When in that state of mind, they didn't really want to give, but they gave because they thought they were gonna get $2,000, $3,000 back from the Lord. The Lord is gonna pour into their wallets, into their purse. The Lord does not work like that. If it doesn't come from a cheerful heart, if you don't want to naturally give, the Lord is going to sense that. The Lord is going to sense that. The Lord is going to know that you didn't really want to give. You just gave because you thought you were going to get something back. And that is not giving. You should always give and not expect anything in return. Because that's what Christ did. Christ gave his life and didn't get nothing in return. Christ didn't give himself away for $1 billion. So why does your pastor need thousands of dollars from you a year to fund his lifestyle when he can't work to make that much money to buy a Rolls Royce? You know how much a Rolls Royce costs? 250K, 250 grand. That's $250,000 in a car. That's a house for most Americans. But that pastor has it in a car. And there's a person that is unemployed that can't even pay $800 or $1,000 rent every month, but attends that church. And when he asks for a light bill to get paid, or to rent to get paid for at least 2 months so he could get on his feet and find a job, the pastor is nowhere to be found. but the pastor only gives him $200 when the rent is $1,000, it's $1,200. It's women that are getting finessed. That's why it makes me mad, because a woman shouldn't be finessed. You have the same brain as a man. Every time you're disobedient to the word of God, that's when you get deceived. That's when you get tricked out of your position. When you know the word of God, you can't get tricked. You can't get deceived, because if someone says something, if Tiffany Montgomery, whatever her name is, says something, you need to go to the Bible and check and proofread and like, hey, did God ever say something like this? Did God ever ask me for $1,000 a week to donate to her ministry? No.
Please reduce speed.
God never asked for that. So if Tiffany Montgomery is asking for that, that's not godly. God never asked you for money. God doesn't ever ask the soul for money. He doesn't need your money. He made everything in this earth. God just asks you to provide for the needy. Help the needy out. Provide for them. Give them shelter. Because most people that are homeless don't know the Lord. Because the Lord is not going to have you homeless forever. For 5-10 years. The Lord is not going to have you homeless. Because He provides shelter, food, and clothes. So if someone's homeless, he probably doesn't know the Lord. That doesn't mean you're not going to be poor. It means that you're not going to be homeless. You're going to have somewhere to stay. If it's in a car, in someone's house, someone's basement, you're going to have something. You're not going to be sleeping on the street, because the Lord is better than that. The Lord will not have His children being mocked by the world, sleeping on the streets when they claim they know the Lord. If you know the Lord is not going to have you in poverty.
Please reduce speed. Please reduce speed.
Poverty and being poor is two different things.
Please reduce speed.
Poverty is you can't even buy groceries for the week. Poor is you might only have $50 for groceries, but you can still get the necessities: chicken breast, some rice, some broccoli. You fed for the week. You might not be able to get the sirloin steak, the New York strip, the tenderloin. You're not going to get that, but you're going to have some chicken breast, some ground turkey, some ground beef, something to eat. Not ground beef, because ground beef is like $10 a pound, so you're not gonna buy it's around like $8-9 a pound. So yeah, that's like your whole budget for the whole week. So I wouldn't buy ground beef. You probably should do like chicken breast, or like tuna. Tuna, bro. Tuna's cheap. $1 every like 2 ounces, something like that. That's cheap.